me right now is Pennsylvania Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee member Pat Toomey. And Senator, it's good to have you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. We did see significantly less violence, as you just heard. Protesters took to the streets peacefully last night with fewer police confrontations. Give us your perspective and assessment of how these protests have changed and where the situation is today.
Well, Maria, first of all, look, I think any American who saw the video of George Floyd's death was sickened by it, as I was. And I understand completely the anger and the grief. People have every right to protest, provided that the protest is peaceful. And what we've had in recent days, without any doubt, are opportunistic thugs who decided this was a chance to just loot and riot and engage in mayhem. And unfortunately, too many elected officials in cities and governors around the country decided that maybe they needed a little bit of room. And in fact, what you need to do is nip that kind of violence in the bud. Finally, it looks like more resources are being put to work. More of the manpower that we have is being deployed. And hopefully, we've turned the corner on this violence. It's completely unacceptable and cannot be tolerated.
What can the government do? What can this administration do to calm things down? You've been critical of the president's reaction to these demonstrations. Earlier this week, you suggested that the president, quote, changed the tone of his message. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, so my message was about how important it is that we have zero tolerance for this violence, that we deploy the manpower that we need. My message is that it is simply not true that our police forces are systemically racist, that most police are somehow the problem. The fact is the police are the solution. And my message has been they've got to be used and used properly so that we can restore law and order. That is government's first obligation. And so I think some of the president's tweets could have been different. I'm not his tweet editor, and that's not the point, and that's not the problem here. The problem here are these bandits, criminals who have seized an opportunity to wreak havoc. That can't be tolerated.
Yeah, and this is only going to elongate a recovery that we would like to see for small business and overall Americans who are out of work. President Trump is looking to press forward on negotiate. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, it's so important that we get back to work. Many places, including my state of Pennsylvania, has been way too shut down for way too long. It's overdue, and now this is a terrible setback for so many people. But, Maria, it's even worse than that. You know, we know from having gone through similar experiences in the past, when the police come under attack like this, there's the Ferguson effect. When the police are being attacked on the streets and then being second-guessed by political figures,
that's right.
The danger is that they withdraw to some degree, and then murder rates and crime rates in those very neighborhoods go through the roof. And so that's the real danger here, as well as the economic danger. And this is why you cannot tolerate violence.
Yeah, which is why there's criticism for not supporting our troops, not supporting our law enforcement. I mean, you know, if the police do not expect that the governor and the mayor are going to have their back if somebody throws water on their heads, then they're not going to come out. They're not going to be as aggressive as you would expect. And when you're talking about an economy that continues to look like it's tough out there, that also creates more crime. I mean, the president is trying to press forward on negotiations for the next round of the coronavirus relief. As early as this week, some Democrats and Republicans are still clashing over what should be included in that next package. Where do you stand on this? What are you looking for in terms of what should be in the next relief package?
I'm not at all sure that we need another relief package, Maria. Look at what we have already done. Between the direct spending that we have approved, that we've authorized, and the lending from the Fed that we've authorized to complement that, that will total something on the order of $6 trillion, like 30% of the entire annual economic output of the United States. And, Maria, far less than half of it is even out the door yet. Why would we be talking about going back and either printing more money or borrowing more money, because those are the only two options, when most of the money we've already authorized hasn't even gone out the door and our economy is beginning to reopen. I'm not at all convinced that we certainly don't need another piece of legislation now. I'm not convinced that we will. I think we should wait. Let's see. Maybe a month from now we'll see that there are some serious needs that still are unmet. But, boy, we've done an awful lot. We've replaced the vast majority of lost income for people. For low-income workers, we've actually more than replaced their lost income. The demand is going to be there. It's a matter of being able to open up safely. I think business can do that. Obviously, this whole series of riots has been extremely unhelpful in this regard at many levels. But it's not clear to me that we need yet another round of hundreds of billions of dollars when so much hasn't even been spent yet from previous rounds.
And by the way, while so many are actually making more money right now being home than they would be on the job, the idea to give them more money to stay home, why would they come back? You want the economy open in the next couple of weeks. That program is in place until the end of July. So why would they actually come back if they're making more to be home? Real quick, Senator, we got to jump. Yeah,
it was shocking when our Democrats insisted that people should get paid more to not work than they get paid to work. That's a very, very bad idea. It's really time to reopen this economy. Fortunately, it's starting in most places. That's really the answer here, getting people back to earning their livelihoods.
Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you, sir.